What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Big and Bliss podcast. This is episode 26, and let's jump into things. We got awesome times for sports fanatics, especially NFL. We got the super wild card coming up this weekend, the wild card round, I should say, of the NFL playoffs, and I'm hyped. My team's in it. Sorry, Big, your team is not, unfortunately. But you guys have had a Super Bowl more recently than the Cowboys have, so I don't really feel bad for you. Yeah,
a couple more recently.
Yeah, I don't really fucking feel bad for you, to be honest. So kiss my ass. But yeah, do you want to start with the picks?
Yeah, well, we started out hot.
Well, mind you, the last episode we recorded, Los was in here, and so he was involved in the picks. So.
Oh yeah, from the previous week.
And this is a couple weeks old, by the way, so these picks are old as hell. Sorry.
Yeah, so for week 17, Carlos was 11-4, and me and you both were 10-5.
Gotcha.
So pretty close.
Yeah.
For Wildcard weekend, we talked to Carlos on the phone, and he wanted to input his picks, so we let him. So for the first game, I believe it's being played on Saturday. Actually.
Which one is it?
The Raiders.
It is.
Bengals game.
It's
Saturday. So we'll get some Saturday football this week.
Super duper wild card Wednesday, or not Wednesday. Sorry.
Weekend. So Raiders versus Bengals. Blaine took the Raiders. I took the Bengals, and Carlos, who's a huge Raiders fan, said he wasn't breaking his streak because he picked the Colts. Yeah, he picked the Colts to beat them, and the Raiders won. So he's hoping that his reverse psychology will work again. And
mind you, this is like one of the biggest Raiders fans I've met, besides my wife. Like, he used to be a season ticket holder until they moved to Las Vegas, because he lives, closer to the Coliseum in Oakland. And he's bet against the Raiders. He's a realist, though. He'll bet against his team if he thinks that his team's going to lose, Me, I can't pull myself to bet against my team. But the last few times he's bet against his team, they've pulled out the W where, honestly, on paper, they shouldn't have been able to. Yeah. So I get his strategy. So, sorry, go ahead.
And then next game would be Patriots versus Bills. Me and Blaine took the Patriots. Carlos took the Bills. The Patriots, I don't know. The Bills are just too up and down for me personally.
Yeah. So, and Mac Jones is just...
His beginning of the year was slow, and then when he got on, he got on.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten off. No pun intended.
And then the next game would be Eagles versus Bucks. Blaine took the Eagles. Me and Carlos took the Bucks. I don't see Tom Brady losing in a wild card.
Yeah, I don't either. I hate the Eagles, being a Cowboys fan, and I usually always bet against them. But if they could take the Bucks out, it would be so much easier for everybody,
Oh yeah, it would make that division or that conference a whole lot easier.
And they're getting Miles Sanders back, Sanders, I should say. But I guess at the same time, I guess I should be a realist, not what I want to happen, but I should really, in my picks, pick for what I think is gonna, should happen. But they were saying, so while we're go ahead and do the picks, then I'll get on that. Sorry.
Niners versus Cowboys. All three of us took Cowboys.
Oh, let's go, baby.
And then Steelers versus Chiefs. Me and Carlos took the Chiefs. Blaine took the Steelers.
And again, that goes back to me wanting that to happen, not thinking. But go ahead.
Yeah, and then Cardinals versus Rams. We all took the Rams.
Yeah.
I think the Rams. I think the Rams just have a better defense, honestly.
Yeah, and Carlos has broken it down in this way, and I'm gonna butcher. It's not a quote, but he, in his opinion, he thinks that Kyler Murray being, was he 5'8"?
Oh yeah, so 5'8", 5'9", something like that. He's shorter.
Carlos said something about being 5'6", and I was like, well, isn't he 5'8"? And he goes, well, on paper he's 5'8". So. Like how in the NBA you've told me, I didn't even know until you said somebody might be 6'11", but they might say they're 7 foot or 7'1", or they might downplay. Usually it's upplaying though.
Yeah.
But he thinks he might be shorter than that, and his theory is that because you see it with Kyler, he comes out starting off good in the beginning of the season and then kind of withers away a little bit, and he thinks because he's smaller and having to play at a faster speed because he can't really see over the line as well. He has to get out of the pocket. He starts breaking down towards the end of the season, little by little, which makes sense, and it kind of does show. Is that what's happening? Possibly, but The thing that I wanted to get into with the Buccaneers and Tom Brady being in the playoffs, we talked about this earlier, Big. This is Tom Brady's, 20th season?
Yeah, 20th season.
20th season, and he's made the playoffs 19 of the 20. Why is that, Big?
Yeah, the only time he didn't make the playoffs was he was missed the whole season because he got his knee blown out.
Yeah. So that was out of his control. So every season that he's started, he's made the playoffs. And mind you, he's trying to earn his 8th Super Bowl ring. He's been there 10 times and won 7. That's a 70% rating. Like LeBron's been to the finals, 11 times and won 4? So, it's crazy. It's crazy. This man is it blows my mind that he's got a 70%.
10 times. He's been there 10 times.
And how many has he won, LeBron?
4.
Okay, so it's 40%. Not even half. But, I mean, he's got 4 rings. So I'm not hating from 3 different teams. And one was a COVID season. So let's be real. He's got 3.5 rings pretty much with 3 teams. But 7 rings been there 10 times in 20 years.
Yeah.
Which is
so half
crazy.
of his career has been spent going to the Super Bowl.
50% of his career has been Super Bowl. 70 or so, and then out of that 50%, those 10 Super Bowl appearances, he's won 70% of the time. Mm-hmm. 70. That's mind blowing. But so
I say when this dude retires, just hand him his yellow jacket.
Yeah, like with Kobe when he passed away, he was gonna make it anyways, first ballot Hall of Famer, but he wasn't up the number of years after retirement. Like the NBA is 3 or 5,
something like that.
Kobe had been retired for 2, I think, when he passed away, and they just pushed him into the Hall of Fame because he was gonna that's another one. Just give as soon as he announced his retirement before he even played his last game, just hand him the jacket. Let him show up to pregame and postgame wearing that gold jacket kind of thing, I know the NBA is not a gold jacket, but you know what I mean. But what I was getting at is I don't know his first name, linebacker for the Eagles, Sweat. I can't remember his first name. He was saying they were talking about him going up against Tom Brady this week, and he was saying that you hear a lot about these guys that like to toss the ball up and go for big plays, big touchdowns, like just the big arms and like the big dick in the locker room kind of thing. That's what you hear about a lot, but nobody talks about the quarterback that can string along a 12-play drive, kill the clock, and come out with 7 points after milking 5 minutes off the clock, 6 minutes off the clock, 4 minutes, and putting together 12 plays on that drive. Yeah, you don't talk about that. And that's exactly what Tom Brady has done his whole career. He's never been a shootout guy. He's never been like a Herbert or Derek Carr, a long bomb.
Patrick Mahomes,
Andrew, or what's his name? Oh my, Rodgers.
Yeah.
And those are the guys that are in the forefront that you talk about, that you publicize, because it's fun to watch. Like going to a baseball game, you're going to talk about the guy that's bombing, going yard on home runs and grand slams. You're not going to talk about the guy that's hitting dinkers like fielders and RBIs and all that stuff as much. You
don't talk about the guy with a high on base percentage. You talk about a guy with massive homers. Pitchers, same way. Yeah. You don't talk about the guy with low ERA, just hits to contact and gets guys out. You talk about the pitcher who has over 100 strikeouts
like
in a
season.
Gardner.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's like Dion. So going back to like baseball and football, Dion Sanders, I think he still holds records for like steals and stuff and doubles and triples in the MLB. Like, I don't know if he still holds records or whatnot. I think he might, but Dion was always looked at as not a joke in baseball. People don't really think about how fucking good he actually was. And to be doing it while playing 2 sports, sometimes the same day or same couple days. But he led the MLB when he played for like steals, obviously fastest guy ever, doubles, triples, because somebody that like would hit a ball and it would be a single. This guy had such burners that he could turn that into a double or a triple.
Yeah.
But so again, I used to be the biggest Tom Brady hater. And it just came to a point that you really got to take the hate out your heart. You got to realize when you're watching greatness.
Like, see, it's one of those things like when you watch something when you're like, God, my team keeps losing to this fucking. Mm-hmm. You hate him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like all Raiders fans hated John Elway.
Oh yeah, And they hate Patrick Mahomes right now.
As they get towards the end of their career, you just got to be like, you got to look at what they've done and be
their
like,
body of work.
I hate you for what you did to us, but I respect you as a fan of the sport. That's kind of what you have to do. And for all of us guys that are from the AFC, where the Patriots destroyed for the longest time.
Yeah.
And it was like the only way to get to a Super Bowl was to go through the Patriots.
Go through New England.
And it was like, you hated it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you hated it because you just knew, like, fuck.
Well, see, and I'm NFC, and now he's over there with Tampa Bay and starting to do the same shit, just different conference.
Yeah,
it's just it's nuts. But you never appreciate what you're seeing until you don't have it anymore, until it's over. Like me, I was a Kobe fan, but I knew he was one of the greatest to ever play. But after he passed away, that's when you really were like, holy shit! Like, it's super sad, but I didn't know what I was experiencing watching until it was taken away, and then you really you backtrack and look at the person's body of work. So you don't really appreciate what you're watching at the moment. And like, think about this. I get to say I watched Michael Jordan play live. I was living in Utah, and he played against the Jazz. And at the time, it was the I can't even think. I can't remember the name of the arena. It's slipping my mind right now, but it's not named the same thing anymore where the Jazz play. But I got to watch Michael Jordan play live. You know, we got to watch greats. We both got to see Buster Posey play baseball. He's going to be first ballot Hall of Famer. Yeah. You know, I got to see Barry Bonds play when they were at the Stick when I played Junior Giants when I was like, you know, 3rd or 4th grade. Like, we got to see some greats, even if we watched them live on television. Mike Tyson boxing, Kobe Bryant playing and winning the finals. You know, and my kids didn't get to see Michael Jordan play live. You know, like, you don't appreciate what you see or what you're experiencing until it's too late.
Because a lot of times in the moment, you're just in the moment, and you're like, oh, that was cool. And then, like, when stuff boils down to it, years down the road, you're like, man, like, I just watched history. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and never get to you watch replays, but you'll never, you know.
Yeah, because in the moment, like, if you knew, like, the first snap that Tom Brady took as a starter, what he was going to do, you would value every moment of it a lot differently than
you'd watch.
Because when that man ran out there, I saw a thing the other day. The year he was drafted into the NFL, Madden didn't even give him a name.
Holy sh!
They had the other two quarterbacks above him had names.
Whoa!
And his said quarterback number 12.
Whoa.
That was his name in
on some NAAC, you know, or NCAA or whatever.
NCAA.
Damn, dude, I'm having brain fart moment. And it was the Delta Center, the Jazz. It used to be the name of.
But yeah, no, literally, they didn't even give him a name in Madden because
he didn't even get paid for being in the game. Then
57 overall was what he had at that time.
Jesus.
When that man jogged out onto the field because Drew Bledsoe got hurt.
Yeah. You know, Patriots fans were like, imagine the thoughts of the fans, like, oh my fuck, this guy was drafted the fucking 6th or 7th round. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, what's his name say? Bradley? Like, what the fuck?
The owner or the GM at the time literally thought he was, because they had drafted a tight end with the same last name.
Oh, shit.
When the first interaction, the GM thought he was talking to the tight end. Because the tight end was drafted like earlier, like 2nd or 3rd round.
Yeah.
And they were real hyped on the tight end and not so hyped on Tom Brady.
Yeah, that was a throwaway pick.
Yeah, so he literally was talking to him and thought he was the tight end.
Oh my god. That's wild, bro. That's so crazy.
For him to jog out there and like if you knew, like if you Marty McFly'd that bullshit and went into the future and had the almanac, you know what I mean, and you knew all the Super Bowls, you would watch his career a lot differently.
Oh yeah, 1,000,000%.
Because you know, half the people when Drew Bledsoe got hurt and Tom Brady ran in, change the channel.
Oh yeah, like we lost.
Yeah, who's this kid?
Yeah,
like you know what I mean, type of thing.
Well, we're in a rebuild year now. You know, like our next season, we'll get him next season.
Yeah,
that's crazy though, bro. Like that's like, and it just shows the drive that he had. You know, everything was stacked against him. And 20 years later, the greatest.
I mean, his college wasn't even. Yeah. It didn't go great for him in college.
Eastern Michigan?
No, he went to Michigan.
Was it? Oh, okay.
But the problem is he never really got to start his first few years. Thought about transferring a few times, and then he ended up sticking with it because like people around him said just stick with it, and he finally started like his senior year.
At least get your education, if all else.
Yeah, so he finally started at Michigan like his senior year or something like that. Like,
his numbers were good, but that's why he got drafted. Lucky he got drafted.
Yeah, I mean,
one round. Like if he wouldn't have got drafted, we might not ever know this guy's name. He could be falling back on his degree, or who knows? Worse than the worst, he could be a manager at Burger King or something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, facts. Like,
but he's going down as the greatest quarterback to ever pick up a football. That's not even arguably. That's this Joe Montana debate. Like, he's surpassed that. Like,
you can't. Like, at this point, greatest quarterback to ever play the game. Spygate, Deflategate, all that bullcrap you want to throw at it.
But he took his talents to Tampa Bay and still doing it.
He's just doing it. Like, it's just, I mean, you can't argue with it anymore.
No.
And if you're arguing with it, then
you're not a true fan of the sport.
You're just spiteful.
Or you're not a true fan of the sport and you don't look at the numbers. You're
super biased. You're that guy in fantasy football that drafts all the players from your favorite team. Honestly, if you're fighting that hard for Joe Montana to be the best quarterback the NFL's ever seen, then you're obviously a Niners fan. And you probably drafted Jimmy Garoppolo in your fantasy league.
Oh, shit. How'd that work out for you? But if you're talking fantasy football, he's in the playoffs. That's great, but his numbers aren't there. No. He's not serving you up points.
I saw something speaking of Niners. So Trey Lance has been.
I'd rather not speak about the night, but
Trey Lance is like. I saw something on who's their tight end? Kittle.
George Kittle, sorry, secondary.
Yeah, Kittle. That's what it was. Trey Lance threw this touchdown, bomb. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, okay, Trey Lance. What's get Jimmy G out this bitch?
Right. He's out this bitch after the season probably.
Kittle lost his mind, bro. He was so stoked. Like the way that Kittle, like, it's one of those things like. You got to get a homie that looks at Trey Lance the way Kittle looks at him type of thing. Yeah. Like, he was jumping up and down, like, smacking Trey Lance on the helmet. Because, like, the play was amazing.
Yeah.
And it was, like, to Debo or something.
Yeah, Debo Samuel. He's a real Debo. He's a bully.
Oh, yeah, he's just
bully.
He's like DJ Metcalf.
Yeah, dude, both of them, like, twins, bro.
And, but, yeah, so this happened. And then Kittle went to the sideline and, like, chest bump a coach. The coach fell down, bro.
Hey, Kittle wasn't even involved on the touchdown. He
was blocking.
He might have blocked, but yeah, a bit of decoy.
They asked the head coach, like, how the head coach felt about the way that, like, the team's accepting Trey.
Yeah.
And he's like, I wish Kittle would just stay the fuck away from Trey.
Yeah,
because he's like, the way Kittle celebrates.
Yeah.
He's like, I love his enthusiasm, but like this man goes from 0 to like 100 on celebration. He's like, when things happen good, I hide from Kittle. He's like, I love the guy, love his enthusiasm, all this stuff.
Awesome. But I like Kittle.
And like in the play, it shows Kittle like after the touchdown, he like smacks Trey on the helmet and stuff, and then sprints the 40-something yards down to party in the end zone with Debo. He's like pushing everybody in the end. Like this man's like full rave mode after every.
He's like
play.
Like Gronk, young Gronk.
Yeah,
but faster. And Kittle's the truth though.
But yeah, I just thought it was funny. Like this dude was like, stay away from Kittle when you do things good.
I hide from him. That's hilarious though. No, I like Kittle. He's more of like that homegrown story. Not homegrown as in the sense of from San Francisco. I don't know where he's from, but he's homegrown in the sense of like he's like your everyday Joe. You know?
Oh yeah, literally.
Like it makes you feel
like
blend
in a crowd type of person.
Yeah, it makes you feel like, damn, I could have made it, but he's just, and he's so authentic and such a caring person. Like he's so genuine, you know.
Oh yeah, his like the reaction to when Trey throws this, it's like it's literally like big brother little brother type thing.
That's
like
awesome.
His reaction is like his little brother just threw a touchdown and he's just that ecstatic about it.
I'll look it up and watch it quietly. So you know that Kittle and Kelsey, I believe, and is it Ertz started
the tight end
U, which is super cool, bro. They get together in the offseason. They get together as many of the
NFL they invite
tight ends.
A bunch of tight ends. And
stuff. Anybody like NFL caliber tight ends for sure, and then they bring some younger tight ends in too, and they have it's a full seminar. It's not just on the field, but what Kittle said, he bought like 3 of the jugs machines, which are like $10K a piece, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm thinking of the basketball return machines are like $10K or $15K.
The jugs probably are still
expensive.
For decent ones.
Depends on which one you get. If you get the ones like the high schools have with just the 2 wheels, sure they're not that much. But that one that we talked about in like the second or third podcast episode is the one that's like automated. It's like a robot that it's like a revolver that can send 6 balls within like 5 seconds. That motherfucker. Did we look up the price? We did. No. You had to call.
Yeah, it was
like,
one of those
like a car dealership. Oh, you want this Corvette? Call for price.
Yeah, it was one of those things where like you had to get an estimate, which means when they say that,
it's like $50K or it's expensive.
Oh yeah.
But this tight end that we're talking about, they do a bunch of on the field stuff. And I don't know, do they rent out the colleges that they go to or wherever they're going to?
Honestly, they probably don't have to.
Yeah,
it's probably like Kittle probably hits up his alumni and is
that's
like,
what I was thinking. They're probably doing it at the founders because who is it? It's Kittle, Kelsey, and Ertz.
Probably those are like the bigger
the 3 of the top 5. I believe it's those 3 that came together and started it. But this was Kittle's brainchild. So. They do it at the college or high school or whatnot, and they have a meeting room and they literally give a whole seminar, especially to these younger tight ends that are coming to the league or just been in the league for like a year or 2. They teach them about money, about finances, about.
No, it's not Ertz, but the reason we thought about it is because I think Ertz and Olsen, it's Greg Olsen.
Oh, okay, Greg Olsen, gotcha. Yeah. Okay,
I think they played together, played on a similar team.
Well, I know Olsen was a Panther until the last season of his career. And who he played for? It was a team that I never thought was it the Seahawks? He finished his career with, but he retired as a Panther. Now he's a commentator in the booth. But yeah, they teach you everything like the NFL should. They're like a rookie symposium, or is that the word? Symposium. Yeah. But they actually teach, how when you come in the NFL on what to expect and how to get a financial advisor. They give you the full spiel, and they write up the plays and drop the X's and O's and teach these kids something. So that's what it is. It's Tight End University. They even have their own shirts and everything made. Like this, it went from like a thought to a full on like university almost. Like business.
So it started. I guess it started as just like a little thing that they would do where they would personally invite like NFL tight ends and stuff. And this year was the first year that they did it like big. And they had over 40 tight ends from across the league attending.
That's crazy. So second stringers, third too, some of them,
Even the second and third string tight ends from San Francisco also were invited.
Gotcha. So I just looked up Olsen's Wikipedia, and it says he was drafted to the Bears, round 1, 31st overall. He played with the Bears from 2007 to 2010. Then he played with the Panthers from 2011 to 2019, and then his last season was with the Seahawks. But then he went back and retired as a Panther. He's a big staple in that community in North Carolina.
It's weird because in my brain,
I only see him as a Panther.
I mean, I remember the Seahawk year.
Yeah, me too.
And he wasn't very happy because they only used him as a blocker. I remember that.
Kind of like Jason Witten going to, well, not because they actually threw to Witten and Oakland.
Yeah, Olsen, in Seattle, they barely used him as a receiver, and he wasn't very happy about it. Yeah. But literally, like, the whole Bears Olsen, I don't even think of either. Like, I can't even remember that. But yeah, so tight end is a big thing. So I know we gotta run this along. So what do you think of this playoff weekend? Or let's get to the Raiders-Chargers game. I know that you were working. You only saw highlights. That fucking game, dude. The Las Vegas Raiders versus the Los Angeles Chargers in Las Vegas. That game was crazy. If it would have ended at a tie, so if the Raiders won, the Raiders, obviously made the playoffs. But if the Raiders won, the Steelers got in too. Mm-hmm. If the Chargers won, the Raiders wouldn't have gone in. The Chargers would have gone in, and that would help the Steelers get in too. Yeah. But if they would have ended that game in a tie,
then the Steelers wouldn't have got in, but both the Chargers and the Raiders would have been in the playoffs.
Yep.
And before the game even started, I was joking with the wife because she's a diehard Raiders fan, and I'm like, damn, imagine if this ends in a tie. Like, ties in the NFL are not common.
I feel like they've been super common this year.
More common, yes, but they're still not. It's like an onside kick. Like, you're recovering it. It's not common at all. But when McAfee was in the league, it was more common, you know?
Yeah.
So the game almost ended in a tie in overtime. It almost ended in a tie, which is crazy to me to think that would even be, you know, because for the odds of that happening are like 0 to 9. And if you would have bet the under or bet that it ended in a tie in like Las Vegas, and it did, oh man, $100 probably would have netted you a couple $100,000.
Oh, facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like the over under was probably crazy in that. Like I watched the thing with Vitaly, you know, the YouTube star who does the pranks. He had streaked like the NBA Finals when the Warriors played the Cavaliers in Cleveland. He had streaked the World Cup in Brazil or whatnot. He was making it a goal to streak every major sporting championship. He got caught trying to streak the Super Bowl like 3 years in a row. He couldn't do it. And streaking, when I say streaking, he's not actually getting naked, getting shirtless, and he's got his website, you know, written on his chest and back and yada yada yada. But he couldn't do it. So this last Super Bowl, the Bucks won. He had his childhood friends. One went as a decoy and one actually streaked. So he got to kind of reach his goal by streaking it, even though he didn't do it. He sponsored it. He paid for their tickets. He paid their bill. He paid their attorney fees. He did everything. But listen to this, Mike. One of the guy that actually streaked, was smart enough to bet on, I don't know how betting works, the terminology, bet the under, that there would be a streaker in the game.
Yeah, we talked about this.
This was actually a bet in Vegas, a line you could bet on. And to think if there's going to be a streaker during the Super Bowl, especially with, you know, COVID protocols and security ramped up, you probably are not going to happen. But this guy was so confident he was going to get it done and actually be able to do it. He bet that there would be. And I guess, I don't know the terminology. It was in the bettor's favor if you're betting for it, like if to win.
Oh, yeah.
So he calls people up and he bet, I think, $50,000 or $75,000 on it, and ended up winning like over $500,000. So he not only did he streak, got all that publicity. He was wearing a pair of the Rock's Under Armour shoes, and then the Rock. I guess people were blowing up the Rock, saying, "Look at the streaker wearing your shoes." So the Rock even did a selfie video in the gym and shouted him out. Like, his shit just went bananas. But he bet there would be a streaker with his own money, and then he actually accomplished the streaking and cashed the fuck out. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I heard there was a big thing going around where they might not even pay him out because you're not allowed to manipulate.
I think he got paid out though.
Yeah, no, he ended up getting paid out. They were gonna, like, there was a lot of people that said he might not because you're not allowed to personally manipulate a bet,
which is like shaving points.
Yeah, that
makes sense.
So I looked up. It was an 80-1 payout if you bet on the tie.
So if he bet $1, he'd win 80.
80.
Oh, if you bet on the tie.
The tie.
Not the streaking. Okay.
Not the streaking, no.
So if you bet 1,000, you win 8,000?
80,000.
80. Oh, yeah. 80 to 1.
Zero.
You bet 100,000, you win 8 million, right?
Yeah.
Holy shit. But it didn't end in a tie. It was close, though. And like I told you earlier, I was watching the game, and the broadcast, like the cameraman panned over to a couple of Steelers fans, all in their Steelers gear, in the stadium in Las Vegas. And mind you, with 5 minutes left in the game, I think the Raiders were up by 15.
Yeah.
And these Steelers fans were hyped. Yeah, Steelers going to get into the playoffs because the Raiders going to win, blah, 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 blah. And then when they were tied in overtime, it looked like it might end in a tie. They panned back over to those fans. And the fans looked completely depleted, dude. They looked like they had no life in them. And you could read lips. And one of them was something to the effect of, just play the fucking game. Like, you know, there was fans in the stadium holding up signs that said, just tie, baby, instead of just win, baby.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just if you tie, we both go. Just fuck. They could have, like, and we had text before the game, right? And talking about just taking knees. They could both come out, both quarterbacks, when they got the ball, could just take knees. What, 16 knees each or something? but you'd have to go to overtime and do the same thing, and they would have both made the playoffs, and they could have risked no injuries.
Yeah.
But I get it. You want to you want to be competitive. You want that.
Imagine that though, 3 teams from the same division making the playoffs.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's bonkers, bro.
Yeah, if that would have happened. Oh no, it did happen.
No, if it would have ended in a tie, that would have been 3 from the only team in the division would have been the Broncos that didn't make it.
That's crazy. And it's safe to say that there's a good chance that somebody in that division would win the Super Bowl.
I mean, that ups the chances.
Right? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Phenomenally if you have 3 from the same division.
It's but speaking of teams winning Super Bowls, there's 4 teams right now that are in the playoffs that have never won a Super Bowl, which is crazy to me too. You have the Buffalo Bills, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Tennessee Titans. If any of those 4 teams win the Super Bowl this season, that'll be the first Super Bowl win that their franchise ever had. So we could be witnessing history again in that sense. So that's just something quick I wanted to throw out there. Will the Bills, Bengals, Cardinals, or Titans win? Probably not. I think the Bengals, we talked about it earlier, the Bengals have the best chance.
I think out of those 4, yes.
Out of those 4. Bengals for sure. And I was telling Big that, in my opinion, it was the chances were Bengals first, and then I said Titans second, and then Cardinals and Bills were tied for third in odds of winning. But you have it different. You said Bengals for sure would be top.
I think Bengals are the top, hands down, no argument in those 4. In that group of 4. I think the Bills are next. Yeah. They edge out the Titans for me, mainly based on I feel like the Bills have a better defense than the Titans, and I feel like the Titans get very one-sided.
Run heavy.
And is Derrick Henry, is he healthy? I knew he was hurt for a while.
I believe so. I believe he's healthy.
So my thing is they get very very run heavy with Derrick Henry, and
it's shown. Defensive coordinators have tracked that and shut their run.
Last season they literally handed him the ball in Wildcard. He dominated, and then the very next time out,
he got shut down because they studied the tape and did what they should have. So he's missed 9 games with a fractured foot, but they've designated him to come off of AR. AR or IR? IR, sorry. Okay, I was confused, sorry. IR as of January 4th. Just in time for this. Given them 21 days to get him back on the roster. Just like J.J. Watt in Arizona. He might be making a comeback for the playoffs. But speaking of Watt brothers, you want to take us into the T.J. Watt and the record? And what I was going to tell you earlier when we were pre-gaming for the podcast is the record. I saw something that 2 things. One, that what he thought was the first sack with the fumble. And I just saw a headline. I didn't review it. And then after the game, post-game, Big Ben was doing his media stuff, and he was petitioning the NFL to give him another half sack to his stats to give him the record. And I'm guessing it pertained to that sack or the fumble that wasn't. But you can't. Come on, NFL, give him half. It's already said and done. You can't change. Well, that. So I didn't watch it live because again I was at work. What happened in the highlights is the center and the quarterback had a misexchange. Oh, so it was a shitty snap. And so it hit the ground, and then was picked back up, and the quarterback tried to run. So the statisticians said that the quarterback was never a quarterback. He was considered a runner from the second he picked the ball up off the ground. That's harsh, dude. That makes sense. Because it makes sense, but it also doesn't make sense. To me, it's like, so if the quarterback, and it was an under the center snap. It wasn't a shotgun. It wasn't a shotgun. So that exchange got messed up. Mm-hmm. Ball hits the ground. He picks it up and throws it. He's a quarterback. Yeah. But the fact that he got scared, picked it up, and took off running makes him not a quarterback. Yeah, well, because in a wild card, you're Wildcat. Wildcat. You're gonna run most time straight off, right? Yeah. So depending on who you are, does that, like, if you're a running back and you get that snap and you hesitate on the run and then you throw a pass, does that turn him into a quarterback? Statistically, he's a quarterback in that.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's weird, bro. So yeah, I think they could have chopped it up, and because my whole thing is, if a quarterback has the ball behind and you tackle him behind the line of scrimmage, that's a sack, right? That's the rules.
But there's that gray area where if they've turned into a runner.
Yeah. Oh, if he tucks it, then I guess he's a runner. If he's tucking and going.
But the thing is, how many times has Patrick Mahomes tucked and run and then at the last second done one of these little.
Well, I guess if he goes to scoop it out and then you sack him, then he's a quarterback. It just depends. It's like we're experiencing the new age tuck rule.
Oh yeah, and so that's where the argument is how did he, and if the quarterback was considered a potential passer,
yeah,
it should have been a half a sack.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they deemed him as a runner and not a quarterback, which that'll be.
Yeah, they could have given him a half a sack because of the fact that he's half runner, half thrower, you know. So yeah, they should. So he would have taken Michael Strahan's record.
And it's just one of those controversies, and like Michael Strahan shouldn't have got that last sack.
Yeah, because Brett Favre gave it up, but
because Brett Favre wasn't trying to die. We've already talked about this.
He had him dead to rights. He was gunning down on him, and he.
What's he gonna do? I mean, he could have thrown the ball in the dirt and gotten a.
That would have been so. That would have been so fucked. That would have been so spiteful. Yeah, there would have been a fight for sure. For sure.
Yeah, if you would have, he could have taken an intentional grounding to avoid letting him set the sack record.
That'd have been so fucked up, bro.
Oh, dude.
Oh, my history would be different. Strahan probably would have been ejected.
Dude, I feel like the whole defense would have just blown up, bro.
Oh yeah, they would have been.
That would have been.
That would have been like a pitcher retaliation.
Oh, it would have been the most. That probably would have been. Just thinking in my brain, if that would have happened, probably one of the most disrespectful things to ever happen in my time of watching the NFL.
Yeah. But then you see the other side of it where he lays down so he doesn't get his ass fucking killed. And then Strahan always has to answer questions about that, you know? Yeah. And people...
I bet you Favre has too.
Warren Sapp, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm sure, dude.
Why'd you give him it for free? Motherfucker, I wasn't trying to die.
I wanted my career to last longer. But TJ Watt's a front runner for... Well, TJ, how many... He tied the record with 22.5 sacks.
Yes.
This man is a fucking beast.
Hey, that family?
Yeah, yeah.
Watt family?
Derek Watt is a fullback for the Steelers, right?
I believe so, yeah.
That's fucking crazy to me, bro.
And you got JJ over here. He's the only player to have 2 20-sack seasons.
And his brother just tied the record. His little brother could have potentially broke the record.
Imagine if, and that's the big thing here, TJ only played 15 out of the 17 games.
Damn. And so, yeah, so the argument of the asterisk of, oh, but he did it in a 17-game season doesn't work here.
It doesn't work because Strahan played 16.
In a 16-game season. So he did it with one more game played.
And so, but imagine if he had just even one more game.
Damn.
TJ gets the record.
Oh, yeah, he gets the record, and like Steph Curry, and counting, he probably, you know?
Yeah, so we were talking about Super Bowl chances. So I looked up the top favorites to win the Super Bowl this year.
It's going to be Green Bay.
Based on the betting world.
So like power rankings for bettors?
Yeah, so the betting world right now is Packers.
Yeah.
Packers are the number one.
They're fucking powered. Yeah.
So if you bet $100, you'll get $380 is what you would win.
If you bet for the Packers to win or against them?
To win.
Okay.
So if for every $100 you bet, you would win $380.
So they're a plus 3.8, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Kansas City is second.
Oh no, it would be -3.8. Because a negative means that they're betting on them to win. That's the over-under. So if it was a positive, and I'm just learning this, if it was a positive, that would be betting on them to lose. They would say that their odds are higher of losing.
So the Chiefs actually are at so they're second, and for every $100 that you would bet, you would get $475 back.
Makes sense.
Bills are third on in the betting world.
Okay.
Well,
these people, that's all they do is they watch
$750 is what you would get out of 100.
Damn.
Buccaneers and Titans are tied. To round out the top 5, you'd get $800.
Damn, I wonder why the Bucks are so low on that.
And the just outside the top 5 are the Rams, where you get $900.
Jeez.
Cowboys at $1,200. Bengals at $1,800. That they seem way low for the team they have. And to me, in the bettor's mind, it's the experience.
Yeah. Because
Patriots are $2,000.
Damn. Well, Joe Burrow's let's be real, he's kind of still a rookie. He blew his shit out in the first couple weeks of his rookie season.
Oh, there's a conspiracy about the football team stadium because of that. Have you seen how many blown ACLs have been on that field in the last few years?
I heard about the Meadowlands, the Giants Jet Stadium being sticky and shit happening. I didn't know about the football team.
I saw literally I should have sent it to you. Sometimes when I'm at work, when I'm on break and I see something, it's like, oh fuck, I gotta go back to work and I don't send it. But yeah, literally Alex Smith's injury, Robert Griffin's injury, Joe Burrow's injury.
Oh, no shit.
And then there's like a list of more that they showed where they happened on the field.
And they're all in proximity?
All the quarterback injuries happened within like 10 yards of each other.
I wonder if that's Joe Theismann, if that was there. When Lawrence Taylor snapped his leg.
Maybe. The long shots to win the Super Bowl, Cardinals at $2,200 is what you'd get off of $100.
Yeah.
Giants $2,500. Raiders $4,000.
The Giants.
I mean, why did I say Niners?
I was like, wait.
I read San Francisco and then.
Oh, you think baseball? Yeah.
Yeah. So Niners $2,500, Raiders $4,000, Eagles $6,000.
Jesus.
Steelers $6,000 off of every $100.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. I just had something on my mind I was gonna say. I don't remember now. Yeah, it's mind blowing, but. I don't know. What were we talking about? We were talking about we get sidetracked with everything, dude. And as a Cowboys fan, like I was telling you earlier, Greg Zuerlein, oh man. Oh, I'm so done with him, dude. He can't hit a fucking point after, but he can chip shot some 45-yarders and shit, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like it's to the point that I haven't had since the week 1 when we lost to the fucking Buccaneers because this guy's leg. I haven't had confidence in him, and I do not know why they've kept him around. But Jerry Jones did come out on the record and said if there was If there was something
better, they would take it.
Yeah, if there was better option available, we definitely would take it. There's just not a better option available. You like that? Like Pat McAfee does impersonation of Jerry. That's mine, but. Yeah, that's crazy. But and all the firings and hirings around the league, the New York Giants are cleaning their front office. They fired Joe Judge as coach and
the Lions. I heard GM, everybody. They're just.
Oh really?
That's what I heard.
Before I forget, speaking of the Giants, remember we were talking. I just mentioned the Giants and Jets, their stadium and being sticky filled and injuries. So the state of New York is suing both those teams right now. You hear about this?
No, I didn't.
So do you know where their stadium is? Like where it's at? Like. City state, it's in
New Jersey, right?
The state of New Jersey.
Yeah.
See, people on the West Coast, a lot of us don't realize that New Jersey and New York are different states.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that New Jersey is a city in New York State, right? But they're in a whole different state, and they're using the name New York for the New York Jets, New York Giants. So the state of New York is in the process of suing them because they don't even play in their fucking state. And I get it. But I watched the thing, Pat McAfee was talking about it, and they were talking also about, well, the 49ers don't play in San Francisco, they play in Santa Clara. It's what, about 20...
At least it's in the same state.
25, yeah, in the same vicinity. But still, when they moved to Santa Clara and kept the San Francisco name, I was like, yeah, no. And again, I'm a 49ers hater through and through. I'll be the first to admit that as a Cowboys fan. That's been a rivalry in my blood. Them and the 49ers and anybody in my division, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, how are you going to keep San Francisco's name and not even play in San Francisco? But the whole New York, like, you can't keep New York. Change it to the New Jersey Jets, New Jersey fucking Giants. Change, whatever. Change it to that. Like, you got the Golden State Warriors, and they represent a whole state. They can move from, the Red Bluff all the way down to freaking Baja California, and be the Golden State Warriors. But that's like the New York shit with the Jets and Giants. That's like the Las Vegas Raiders moved to Las Vegas. They could have kept Oakland then, right? Like, you would think.
I mean, they could have. Would it have made sense?
No, but that's what I'm saying. But and then like the Chargers moving. I still call them the San Diego.
It's hard for me to. It's funny because like.
Or calling the football team.
Yeah, it's just hard when you've called them that same stuff. Yeah, I do it with the Raiders sometimes still. Where I sit.
Me too. But it's nuts. But yeah, you're playing in a whole different state, and like, I'm not going to be the Dallas Cowboys when I'm playing in Oklahoma.
Right.
You know, well, I don't know. That'd be their
the Oklahoma Cowboys, they have them.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be the New Mexico Cowboys.
Yeah.
While I'm playing in Dallas, or be the Dallas Cowboys playing in New Mexico. But yeah, Zerline, whatever you need to get your fucking head out.
Hey, hit up the boy, 10 toes down.
Right? Hit up Destroying. He deserves a shot. And he can't be worse than Zerline, I don't think. I don't think.
From what I've seen,
it's easier to make kicks on YouTube than it is under pressure, though.
Well, and he was making kicks at Florida State
and the CFL.
And he was if he wouldn't have stuck to his guns, he would still be at Florida. He would have been at Florida State. He probably would have got a shot in the NFL. Yeah.
Well, and I don't know if I would want him on the team because he's so into his media, which is great. But I just think that could hurt. I don't want him on my team focusing half and half on YouTube and bringing his vlogging camera into the locker room, all chances and stuff. Like, I want a kicker that's focused,
Yeah,
and that's what most kickers are. They're solely focused on their craft. So that could bring some shit and outside noise into the locker room too.
Yeah.
But again, how much worse could it be to try him out? I think the Cowboys tried out a kicker. Oh, we tried out a punter. We tried out Marquette King. He did come and try out in the offseason, I believe, and he didn't make it. But he brings a lot of fucking baggage. A lot of people said he's a diva too.
Oh, 100%.
I don't know, dancing and picking up fucking flags and throwing them and dancing is like a kicker version of Juju,
Oh, facts.
So, but yeah, that's what I have on that. What else do you want to address? I know that we got a probably.
Oh, we got a few minutes.
A short one today.
So just NFL stuff. The awards are coming up.
Oh yeah.
So, we off air we talked about who they have run right now. NFL has front running for a lot of these. And so MVP, they have the front runners as Aaron Rodgers.
Makes sense.
And Jonathan Taylor.
It makes sense. And Jonathan Taylor is, for the people that don't know, he's the running back for the Indianapolis Colts. And it's very, very seldom, you said earlier, and I agree, that a non-quarterback is in the front running or wins MVP. It's like a defensive player winning the Heisman, which has only been done by, Charles Woodson, right?
That's the last one I can think about.
That's the only. I think it's the only one. But yeah.
So if... And personally, I think Rodgers will probably win it.
And I think he deservingly.
If he does win it, it'll be the first time that someone has won back-to-back MVP since Peyton Manning in 2008, 2009.
Damn.
So, and to me, that's pretty. It'll be hard for a non-quarterback to win that. You'd have to break the single-season rushing record, I think.
Yeah.
To have a chance. Defensive player, TJ Watt is kind of he's not very far out in front ahead of Micah Parsons, but with tying that record.
Yeah, that's
I think it kind of solidifies him into that.
I agree. And like we said earlier, any other season Parsons would be probably winning, or he'd win Defensive Player of the Year.
Any other year, yeah, he most likely would have won Defensive Player of the Year, Linebacker of the Year,
Rookie,
and
Defensive Rookie.
But I have a feeling, this article doesn't say, but I have a feeling T.J. Watt will win Defensive.
And I agree, and it's fitting. It's fitting. I'm not mad at that.
It just sucks for Parsons because the one year that the record gets tied,
and it sucks for Trayvon Diggs too. Well, he's got Parsons and he's got a few people ahead of him.
Yeah,
but he's only a second year player, I believe, Trayvon Diggs. So imagine if he had these 10 picks last season, his rookie season, he would have ran away with Defensive Rookie of the Year. So, and
then Offensive Rookie of the Year, right now, Mac Jones and Jamar Chase are kind of in the lead.
We talked about that earlier too. I like Jamar Chase.
It's just one of those things. This is the offensive rookie when there's a good quarterback. Mm-hmm. The quarterback usually reigns supreme over the other positions.
I hate that shit, man. It's always quarterback driven,
I think Jamar, and the reason right now, Well, he did finish. Jones finished the year with the highest completion percentage by any rookie ever.
Oh, okay. Yep. There you go. That solidifies it right there.
Hey, he got the number 2, 69.0%.
Hey.
Second place is now Dak Prescott.
Damn.
Who had in 2016 67.8 was his.
Yeah, he balled
That was
out.
The highest rookie completion ratio.
And he won Rookie of the Year. And then, and any other season, Zeke would have won Rookie of the Year. But Dak, they just came in together.
And then Herbert last year got 66.6 was his.
Dude, if it was the NBA, Burrow could win Rookie of the Year this season.
Facts.
You know?
And then Kyle Pitts and Waddle they're in the voting, but they're honorable
mentions pretty much.
Yeah. Defensive Rookie of the Year is kind of a runaway. Honestly, when the official vote happens, if it's not unanimous, it would be ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, what's he 12 or 14 sacks to finish?
12 sacks.
And he didn't even play the last game. He didn't play the last game against the Eagles. He was on COVID protocol.
His 12 sacks is tied with Bradley Chubb for the most by a rookie in the past decade.
Damn, if he would have played that last game against the Eagles, our fucking defensive line destroyed them with sacks too. He would have ran away with that, you know?
Coach of the Year
is Belichick. As usual. That's the front running right now, right, Big?
Yeah, for Coach of the Year, Belichick's running out in front. Yes, they're doing great.
I think it's more of a Mac Jones thing, not a Belichick.
I just don't see it as they're doing so well. And the reason I'm saying this is right now it says that he should win Coach of the Year and Executive of the Year because he does both.
He's the GM also.
GM of the Year, maybe, because he brought in Mac Jones and he brought in all these guys to get them to where they are.
Well, I told you I think Cincinnati Bengals coach should be Coach of the Year.
That's what I'm saying. There's other head coaches that I feel should be
more deserving of
the coach. Belichick, probably GM or executive. It's not a GM. It's Executive of the Year. I could see that because he did. They drafted Mac Jones. Mm-hmm. They brought in a bunch of free agents. They spent the most money in free agency, I think, this offseason.
You know who I think should be an honorable...
$312 million in free agency.
Jesus Christ.
And he pulls since their last Super Bowl. Since Super Bowl, not their last Super Bowl, but since February.
Yeah. And people don't understand that he's not only the coach, the GM, but he pulls all the triggers himself.
For trades, signings,
he's the one. He doesn't need your opinion. He doesn't need your feedback. Sometimes, if you're lucky, he'll take it. He might take it into consideration, but that man runs the show over there. Like there's nobody stepping on his toes or saying, hey, maybe not. And if you do say maybe not, then you can maybe get the fuck out of here, kind of thing. You know?
I mean, he's done that, bro.
Yeah.
Like he's traded dudes that like they went to bed on the Patriots, woke up on the Browns type of shit.
Yeah, on the flight back. Like, no detour.
You just dropped dude off in Cleveland.
Right, on the layover. Well, no layover, but yeah. Parachute, motherfucker. You know who should be an honorable mention, and just in my humble opinion, an honorable mention in Coach of the Year is Biashi, or whatever, how the fuck you pronounce it, for the Raiders. This man came in as an interim, and not only would he come in as an interim coach and do big things, with all this fucking noise, dude. With the Gruden, with the fucking Arnett, with the Henry Ruggs, with the Hobbs.
Yeah.
And, Hobbs DUI, they said that they're probably not going to suspend him. It was after they won in Indianapolis. Nate Hobbs is a safety for the Las Vegas Raiders. So they won in Indianapolis against the Colts, flew back. Well, I think at like between 3 and 5, I know it's a big window, a.m., the police found him sleeping in his car on the on-ramp or off-ramp, and they charged him with a DUI. These cops never even fucking gave him a breathalyzer, never did blood work. They never tested him. They didn't even do a field sobriety test, I don't think. Or maybe that's what they did do, and that's it. So they can't prove any. This shit's going to get thrown out. This man's going to skate with probably a DUI and get away with it. And the NFL said, no, we're not penalizing him because we've researched, we've looked into it, and it's no proof that he was drunk or there was no DUI.
Yeah, I mean,
the cop shit the fucking bed. This cop got out and fucked the dog. You know,
facts, man. I mean,
like, dude, that's the first thing you learn with DUIs is okay, field sobriety and a breathalyzer, or if no, you refuse to blow, then we're going to the hospital and getting blood work. And you're declining, we're getting a warrant for blood.
Well, and I mean, and I don't know how Nevada works, but in California now they can't take blood unless it's a felony DUI.
Oh, gotcha.
Period.
Well, unless you volunteer, right?
So what they do is, I mean, you can deny it. You don't have to do field sobriety either.
Yeah.
But if you don't do the field sobriety and you refuse breath, you're charged with suspicion of a DUI, which holds the same penalties as a DUI, except for with a DUI, if you do everything you need to do, you can actually have your license back in a few months.
Yeah.
But with the suspicion, you can't even try to get it back for a year.
Yeah, mandatory year.
And so, I mean, but this cop shit the bed.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, even, let's say, with California law, dude did the field sobriety, and he failed.
That's not proving anything.
Which you can fail if you're tired.
Yes, and he just got back from Indianapolis, and it was 5 a.m. So
you can fail 100% if you're tired, because, honestly, they've done tests. You're more of a danger, and I'm not saying you should drink and drive.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that you're more of a danger tired driving than you are drunk driving.
Well, in California, they have billboards up that say, what, drowsy driving is drunk driving?
Yeah.
Or something like that? Yeah. Which is true. It's
true.
I've
literally, I've been so tired sometimes when I, am driving that, I've almost passed out.
Woken up on the rumble strips on the side of the freeway.
Driving by Braille is what we call it.
Yep. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, so... I mean, I'm not saying he was tired. I'm not saying he was drunk. But,
I'm sure he was tired. He was sleeping. Obviously, he was tired, but yeah.
But the main thing is...
The
officer fucked up.
Yes.
So if he was drunk, then he's now getting away with it.
Yeah, it's getting tossed.
If he wasn't drunk... Now this officer's made him look like he was.
Yeah. Well, and when the NFL starts investigating and they say, no, we're not punishing him, the NFL punishes you for anything.
Oh, God, I know.
So they obviously know shit we don't. And I wonder if this was a case of cop being a fanboy. Oh, shit, I have to take him in because of this, but I'm going to miss this step to help him. This might be...
it could.
It could be. It could be anything. Could be somebody fucking hating.
It could have been a brand new cop that just fucked up.
It could be somebody hating because this is a young black man with millions of dollars and insert nice car here, and could be hating and didn't do his job right because he was so focused on hating, I don't know. It could be anything. Or he could have been drunk and just the cop fucked up. He might have been tired,
Yeah.
5 in the morning or 3, whatever. But that's what we were talking about with Nate Hobbs and the DUI, because we had talked the background noise, all that noise that their interim coach had to deal with. There's so much bullshit, and then came back, and the Raiders have been basically the last 4 weeks or 5 weeks have been playing playoff games.
Oh yeah, it was win or go home type shit.
These last 3 or 4, I know it was the Browns, the Colts, and then obviously the Chargers to wrap up just the regular season. But I think the game before...
But do you think all that pressure tired them out since they all had to be on the field for the whole time?
I don't know. I was watching interviews with some of the players, and they were saying actually the camaraderie brought them together. And they also said that, all that shit that happened with Gruden, Ruggs, all that, it made them closer as a bunch, and they're playing for each other. So, but they were saying that they're super energized because, especially for DC, for Derek Carr, this is the first time he will start a playoff game in 8 seasons. And mind you, that's been his whole career, is 8 seasons. In 2016, they made the playoffs. He got his leg broke in the last game of the season.
Yeah.
That got him into the playoffs, so he didn't get to play. And then they got dog walked by Osweiler and the Texans. And Osweiler was only playing because the starting quarterback for the Texans was injured. So it was backup quarterback on backup quarterback, and the Texans dog walked the Raiders.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but back to what you're saying, could they be tired? Absolutely.
And I'm not even saying physically, but sometimes when you're just having to put yourself on edge for 3 straight weeks doing if we don't win, we go home. If we don't win, we go home. I'm not saying everybody on the team, but some of those guys are going to be mentally or physically drained.
And all it takes is one guy to fucking to miss a play.
Broncos a few years ago, Vernon Davis wide open across the middle, conversion to beat the Raiders. Vernon Davis doesn't drop balls.
Yeah.
Man dropped nobody around him for 15 yards.
The biggest ball in that at that time.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, so
No, absolutely.
I'm not saying it will happen. I'm just saying if you see a bunch of it, that could be why.
Right, and not only that, but also, who knows? Maybe they say, "Fuck, man, we're on this streak. Like, we're doing it." Maybe that just lights that fire. It just turns the stove up under their ass even more.
Oh, it could.
Like
they could be the Giant. They could be like the New York Giants who came out of the wild card. No one expected them to win
and took out the undefeated Patriots
in the Super Bowl.
And that was like prime Brady.
Yeah.
But think about that. We said 20 years playing, 19 years he's made the playoffs, and going for his 11th Super Bowl appearance. He's going for and going for his 8th ring, and he's 44, right? 44 or 45.
Yeah, dude,
it's like that's crazy to hear if the dude's 30s, but 40 fucking something, dude. I'm 36, and it takes me 10 minutes to get out of bed. Every bone cracks, and I fucking feel like complete shit in the morning.
You eat avocado ice cream?
No. I just don't tongue kiss my son. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, that's what I have on that. So, we got before we end. We got to get to one story that we should have started with. Probably.
So, speaking of awards, we just talked about the NBA awards.
Oh, we didn't finish the NFL awards, right? Because I got.
No, we did.
Okay.
I did we didn't go into running back, receiver, all those things. So right now, this is obviously not the end of the year.
This is if the season ended now, and they did their voting.
Yeah, they were voting. Steph Curry is in first with 74 of the votes from this poll.
For what? MVP?
Yahoo Sports, for MVP. Kevin Durant would be second. Nikola Jokic at third, and then Giannis fourth. DeMar DeRozan is actually in
talks.
Yeah, he has 10 of the votes.
Damn.
And then Ja Morant.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron has 5.
What for? What?
Embiid has 4.
For just being in the league? Fuck.
Devin Booker has 1.
Dude, LeBron gets votes just because he's still alive, bro.
Facts.
He'll be retired for 10 years and still be third place in the running for MVP. Like, fucking annoying. Like, get off his jock. Like, Facts. Jesus, man. God, he should be winning Best Actor. He should be like at the fucking Emmys or whatnot, winning Best Actor.
Sixth man of the year would be Tyler Hero for Miami. And then Kelly Oubre.
Yeah.
Kevin Love's actually in the conversation. I haven't heard that name in a while.
I think the word and bias being
Montrezl Harrell, Jordan Clarkson, and Jalen Brunson for Dallas Mavericks.
See, I think that we've got a couple Warriors players coming off the bench that were more fitting for 6th of the year over Tyler Hero.
Well, I mean, man's averaging 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists off the bench.
Gary Payton II is, defensive monster right now and averaging some good numbers. But, yeah, I get
on
it.
43% from the deep, 38 from 2. Why is this?
38 from 2. That's from field.
Oh no, it's 42 from deep, 43 from field
that's
goal.
Good.
38 from deep.
38 from deep. Yeah.
And 87 from the free throw line.
Yeah.
Defensive player right now, Draymond is edging out Rudy Gobert.
Nice.
And then Giannis, Joel Embiid, Mikal Bridges, and then Evan Mobley. Most improved, Miles Bridges, the other twin.
Yeah.
Ja Morant's actually...
Which one? The one that had the funk with the Jokic brothers? The one that almost got murdered?
I don't know.
Found in 3 trash cans?
So Miles is the Charlotte player, and Mikal's the Phoenix player.
Gotcha.
So I don't know which one. So Miles is edging out Ja Morant for most improved. Ja's having his last season was this year. He's
dominating. Yeah, we talk about that watching the Warriors games. Every time we play the Timber or the Grizzlies, I'm like, shit, they always have our number.
And then DeJounte Murray, Jared Allen, Jordan Poole is on here for most improved.
Who's a comeback player?
I haven't seen comeback yet. So rookie of the year, Evan Mobley is leading.
Okay.
And then Scotty Barnes for Toronto, Franz Wagner, Cade Cunningham.
Franz Wagner sounds like an old... Anyways.
Coach of the year would be Billy Donovan, who's Chicago's coach, which
it makes sense.
He's doing what he's doing over there with Caruso, Ball, and DeRozan.
Yeah. They're big 3.
And then Memphis's coach. The Grizzlies have come out of nowhere.
Yeah. No, I agree. I completely understand.
And then Kerr actually got 7 votes.
Nice.
Most disappointing team so far that this article is saying is Atlanta.
Yeah.
The Hawks have not been doing much. And then most surprising team is Memphis, obviously, because they're 30-14.
I would say, and then close second should be the Bulls.
See, the difference is like with the Bulls,
they've got bigger.
You see, Lonzo, DeMar DeRozan, Caruso. You see these guys who've been around. Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
You see these guys. You're like, okay, those names make sense.
Yeah.
And then Memphis, you're like, Ja Morant.
And do they have a Lopez brother? Which is, even if they do, is at the end of their career.
They may have them.
But the thing that I want to move into, because I know we got to wrap it up soon, is Klay Thompson is back. Klay Thompson is back in the league. I think they said something about 800 and something days without playing, or 900 something days without playing an NBA game. Because mind you, in the series against Toronto, in the championship series, the Warriors versus the Raptors, back when Kawhi was still a Raptor, he tore his ACL and ended up, we ended up losing that series. You guys saw how that turned out. Durant also busted his Achilles in that series, didn't he? It was his Achilles.
Because he came out and shot the free throws or something.
Yeah. So Klay went down in that series. What was that? 2019, 2018, I believe. Anyways, so he went down that series. Well, an ACL injury, especially with basketball, because you have to have that pop. You have to be able to jump.
Yeah.
It takes you out of commission for 8 months to a year usually, closer to a year. But mind you, a full season, a full NBA season, hands down. So he gets that all done, and he's rehabbed it, and it's almost before training camp starts, and he's down at the rec center in LA, just open gym playing, and fucking ruptures his Achilles. And that has been known to be a career ender with a lot of people. And so he went from blowing out his ACL, missing a whole season, recovering, then before training camp starts for the next season where he's going to play again, he's open gym running it and ruptures his Achilles, and he's out for a whole another season.
Honestly, dude, he's like Derrick Rose 2.0, bro. No one ever knew when he was coming back.
Well, he's back now.
No, I know. You remember when Derrick Rose, people were like, oh, he's coming back soon.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, he's coming back soon. Oh, never mind. That's how I felt Klay was for a long time. Just as much time as he missed.
Yeah, and it's sad, though. It's really sad, because he's such a big part, and he's so... People are scared of Klay in the NBA. They call him the silent assassin. He doesn't chip back and forth with you. His face never changes. But when shit hits the fan, he's like our brother David. Shit hits the fan, he's fucking... You gotta watch out. Because he's one of those guys that goes 0 to 100 and will, make shit happen. Make shit happen. It says he missed 31 months. But he came back... it was Sunday, scored 17 points, hit a few 3-pointers. Just nice to have the man back. He's first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. He got snubbed from the NBA 75, and he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. His stats, I haven't really. Let me see what his stats have been. But go ahead, Vic.
I was just saying it's going to take him some time to with that many days missed. It's going to take him time to get back to.
Absolutely. So he came back January 9th against the Cavs. 20 minutes. 17 points, 7 for 18 from field, 3 for 8 from 3-point, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Then 2 days later against the Grizzlies, where we lost, he played 20 minutes. He's playing 5 minutes a quarter. They're
load managing it.
Oh, 100%. He scored 14, 5 for 13 from field, 2 for 5 from 3 rebounds, 3 assists. And then the 13th, which was yesterday,
last night,
when we lost the Bucks, played 21 minutes, 11 points, 3 for 11. 2 for 7 from 3, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. So little by little, he's getting there. 17, 14, and 11 points in his first 3 games back after 31 months.
Yeah,
not big numbers, but it's
Well, like I said, he's not only does he have to get back in rhythm, the team has to get back in rhythm
playing with him. That's what we were talking to Carlos about too.
It's just because they've done things a little differently.
Yeah,
without him.
Yeah, they've had to.
And so it's
941 days he missed. That's
with no
crazy.
Professional basketball.
Yeah,
played.
yeah.
That's so
crazy.
That's literally so long.
And he was in his prime when he went down. So, but we'll see how all that works.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's going to be tough. Like they're going to have to rework the game plan, the rotations. It's just, I mean, like that game against last night. It was I saw something. It was like 38-77 at one point, or 39-77, and I'm like, yeah, that's tough. Well, and it's just going to be growing pains because Curry's been without him for 900 days.
Yeah, 941. Yeah.
You know what I mean? The whole team's been without him. So they haven't had their dude who comes off of two screens and just bangs everything in everybody's face.
Almost 3 years, dude.
And he hasn't felt that coming off of two screens, catch and shooting.
Yeah. And his first game back, he had the solid dunk, bro. Like he's got his bunnies, but you know, every time he goes, you see him loading up to jump. You're like, as a Dubs fan, I'm watching. I'm like, no, fuck, you know?
Yeah,
because his ACL and his Achilles were both on the same side too.
Well, and that's like players say all the time. Like the doctor may say, hey, look, you're 100%, but that little voice in the back of your head doesn't go away right away.
Oh no, that's like hearing footsteps in the pocket, like Derek Carr. And Dak Prescott, you know, that shit. But 36 months is 3 years. 31 months he missed. 5 months shy of 3 years. And, you know, let's see, you know, how it goes. I think he's going to get back into full Klay. But, and these last 2 games we lost, Draymond's been out with an injury. So people don't realize how much Draymond does for your team until you don't have him on the court.
And I think Draymond...
And that's why he's...
biggest thing
running for rookie of the year, or I mean defensive player of the year.
That's his thing. Is Draymond doesn't give you the most on offense for a guy in his position. Like there's you can go out and get guys in his position that'll give you so much more on offense.
Yeah.
But defensively, he anchors that team.
He's the only player in NBA history to have a triple-double where one of those fields wasn't points.
Yeah.
He had 8 points. He almost had a quad. And I told my son, me and Jordan were talking, he's like, man, 2 more points, 1 more shot. That, you know, a layup, whatever, would have been a quadruple double. How epic. I said, you're right, that'd be epic, but a small few, probably like under 10, under double digits, guys have done that. He could have got into that bracket of being one of 7 to ever get a quadruple double, or don't take that last shot, and you're the only person in history to have a triple double.
4.
Okay, 4 people. So he could have been the 5th person on the list, or he says like this. Nah, fam, I don't want 2 more points. And he's the only person to have a triple-double where points weren't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He could have went from a small number to being the only on another stat. So.
Well, the crazy thing is, you know for a fact, you know for a fact he didn't know that mid-game.
No, not at all. He didn't do it intentionally.
Yeah. Yeah, because you know if Draymond would have had a wide-open dunk, he's dunking it.
Oh, yeah. He's about winning, you know? And so, like you're saying, he doesn't give a lot on offense, but he does in the form of he's a point forward. Well, he runs the whole offense.
What I'm saying is, you could find guys that play his position that could give you more on offense.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But he really anchors that team defensively.
He's a dog.
Because if you think about it, like look at the other guys that play a lot, like Curry.
Not defense.
Not
Klay.
Super defense.
Klay was. But
I mean, recently is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, if you think of the starting 5, like, who's really the
dog?
When you're like, oh my gosh, okay, these guys can play defense. The only real big guy in the starting 5 for the Warriors would be.
Yeah, that can play defense. It would be Dre. Because we got Kevon Looney that starts as our big, but let's be real, he's not. He's average at best.
And that's what I'm saying. So that was my point with him is with Draymond. It's like. Honestly, and it's tough to say, but if that man didn't have the defense he has, he wouldn't be in the NBA.
No, not at all. He might be in the NBA, but not.
He wouldn't be on teams where he wouldn't be winning championships. He'd be one of those guys who kind of bounces around and
journeyman. He wouldn't be on a team that's competing for a chip every fucking season.
Yeah, his defense is what keep and hey, more power to him. Do your thing, score your points, do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman did the same thing. Dennis Rodman finished games with. Literally, I think there's a stat that says over a 3-game period, Dennis had no points in like 40 something rebounds or something.
Didn't
like
he
that.
have like 26 rebounds in one game?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, make your money.
And he wasn't the tallest. He was a power forward. He wasn't even a center.
Yeah, no.
And this is back when centers were a big part of the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
They were, and centers were 7-footers and up. This Yao Means and Hakeem Olajuwon and fucking, shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. Manute Bol. Holy shit. But the breeze you could fart and he'd blow away in the wind. But,
Facts.
that dude could change a light bulb in the arena, though.
Man.
But, yeah, that's what I have for the list. Do you have anything else you want to touch on?
No, that's it for episode 26.
Yes, sir.
As we sign out on this super wild card weekend.
Oh, yeah, man. We're going to have a lot of shit to talk about in the next podcast.
I know. I literally spend my lunches and breaks watching highlights from games. I work on all the days the games are played.
Right.
Now.
Well, now since my son created that little group on IG, I know you don't go on IG, but if you do see anything, IG's got a lot of sporting news, and you gotta, when it's coming from my son, you gotta vet it though. So, yeah. So that being said, episode 26. Your boys Big and Blizz, and signing out. Peace.